All right, Marvel fans, we have so many updates today regarding an original Spider-Man thing for Spider-Man 4 script, essentially some Marvel rival stuff, and so much more. So let's get right into it because we got a lot to talk about. So as I said, we're going to go over things like, World War Hulk, X-Men versus Avengers, stuff like that. But first off, we're going to go for Avengers 7 will reportedly be titled Avengers versus X-Men. And the source is My Time to Shine. As always, take this with a grain of salt, as she has said that this has been going to be for, I don't know, 5 different things now in 5 different phases. And I'm still hearing that this event is going to take place on Battleworld between Doomsday and Secret Wars. But who knows where it'll officially land. Back last year at Comic-Con, people were thinking that it was going to be before Doomsday. We thought it was going to be during Doomsday. We thought it was going to be after Doomsday and even at Secret Wars. So we really don't know where anything actually is located as of right now. But we can say that this is more than likely going to be confirmed and this event will happen. Whether or not it deals with the old Fox characters or the new about to be recasted Fox characters, we don't know as of right now. Next up, showrunner Jeff Trammell hints at the wide range of characters set to appear in Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And he pretty much went on to say, I'm excited for people to see new twists on classic characters, and I'm also excited to introduce characters that aren't normally featured in Spider-Man stories. You're going to see some familiar faces, and if a fan, such as Chameleon, you're going to see a few of his faces. Trammell joked, you're also going to see Scorpion, as well as a few characters who may seem new, like Speed Demon or Butane. We have a huge rogues gallery to play with, and we're so ready and looking forward to putting some of them in the forefront. That's actually really great news, which means, they really want to expand upon Spider-Man's lore and not just use the whole, original Sinister Six or, people like Venom or Carnage, and they're really going to give a bunch of like the low tier characters some shining. Maybe they'll even bring in some Tombstone. Maybe they'll do things like that and they'll connect this into the MCU. Obviously, we know this is a different universe, but it's still kind of like the MCU universe, but we also know that there was a lot of backlash right now. Next up, we want to talk about Brad Winderbaum teases Hatut Zerzisi's involvement in the Disney Plus series Eyes of Wakanda. I apologize if I butchered that. My spelling is not the best, so it's like Hatut Zerazis. They're like Wakanda's CIA. They often have to venture out to regain stolen vibranium, but they also have to keep secrets well hidden so that Wakanda can ward off invaders and stay safe. The Hatut Zerazi are challenged in different ways to stay loyal to Wakanda as they discover the rest of the world around them. And this is really cool. We're going to have like a, kind of like a task force, like, essentially, I don't know if you've read Black Panther versus the Predator, but they also appear in that, which is really cool, actually. And then a bunch of people like the Dora Milaje and other people along those lines. From my understanding, I'm not huge on the whole Black Panther lore. I don't know as much, but I've been reading up on it. They're also more of the characters in the white suits, which is super cool, honestly. I really like the style to the white, like tiger almost look to them. But next up, we're going to talk about probably what you're all here for, the big news. I mean, unless you're not here for Hulk versus Wolverine. The original plan for Spider-Man 4 was to feature a street-level showdown in which Spider-Man and the Punisher would team up to take on the Hulk. And this came from Roca and Jeff Snyder, which obviously they're not geeks, so, take it with a grain of salt, as in they do have good track records and whatnot. But at the same time, they don't really, look too much into it. They've recently come on, say the whole, T'Challa, T'Challa, T'Baba, all this kind of stuff. Like, they don't really know. They just put out scoops and stuff behind a paywall, which you got to respect, as they are respectable sources. But at the same time, I think this is one of those times that Marvel is feeding fake scoops to scoopers, quote unquote, because, Deadpool and Wolverine did that. We heard stuff about that, like in Multiverse of Madness. And, it's been going around for a long time. And I think this is another one of those things, because realistically, let's put it this way. Spider-Man is PG. Spider-Man reaches out to everybody, mostly kids and just everybody in general. And then you have the Hulk, who's a little bit more violent, and the Punisher, who's pretty much a rated R character. You know, I mean, he's going to have a new show coming out, we apparently heard. We don't know where that's going to be posted. Obviously, Disney Plus, but I mean, when it comes down to, is he going to be the same as the Netflix Punisher or whatnot? We don't know yet, but more than likely, I think it's Bernthal. As in for which Punisher Spider-Man would have teamed up, who knows? I mean, it could have been any Punisher, you know? So it's really cool to think about the wide different range. And obviously, I would have liked a different Hulk. Maybe, you know, Lou Ferrigno, maybe Edward Norton, you know, who knows which one it could have been. But, I mean, it could have been Eric Bana for all we knew, because we don't even know which Hulk. So I do like the possibilities, and with the multiverse and everything going around, but being that these are more street levels, I would assume it would be Bernthal, Holland, and Ruffalo. But our last but not least topic we're going to be talking about to you is probably the most exciting. Here we go. So Cryptic HD Quality, you know him on Twitter. He's the one who's usually talking with Alex Perez, and he was really big in the whole Deadpool and Wolverine and just around trailers and whatnot. So pretty much, so here's what I heard about this Hulk versus Wolverine film. I'm told the next Hulk-oriented film most likely isn't going to be Hulk versus Wolverine film. Instead, Doomsday or Secret Wars will likely plant the seeds for it. Give us a small round one and a full or on brawl later down the line. Sorry, I got that wrong. I had my mouse over my button. But, I mean, that makes sense because obviously, like I've been saying for years on now, Universal never gave up the rights to the Hulk. It's like Spider-Man, the rights given away from Sony. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, and people need to get over it. Pretty much, then continues on with, I was told there were talks about a Hulk versus Wolverine film, but it's more likely to happen during the Mutant saga if they 100% plan to make it. There would also be a deeper reasoning for the fight to take place. It wouldn't be a half-beeped cash grab just for people to come watch a fight. I'm assuming it's more of going to be like Civil War 2, where, you know, they all kind of go after Bruce Banner, and then, you know, he doesn't Hulk out and Hawkeye kills him. But obviously, Hulk would Hulk out on this one. It's way too soon to go into details about it, though. This also ties into Avengers vs. X-Men. We're probably getting a tease for this in Doomsday or Secret Wars, and very much later down the line, we'll get a full-scaled Avengers vs. X-Men political-type war. At least, that's what I'm hearing. And see, once again, that sounds amazing. I can't wait for it if it is true. If not, it is what it is. Take it as a rumor from me. Cryptic out, is what he went on to say. And I think it's amazing. I think we could possibly be having, you know, obviously Avengers versus X-Men, and then Wolverine versus the Hulk would be the teaser before it. Maybe just a possibly like, oh my god, you know, maybe it's kind of like the Hero Accords where the mutants are stronger and have more powers, and everybody wants to keep it under control, and the government wants, you know, them all to be used only to their advantage and not just let out amongst the world, or they're racially profiling him and they kind of push them onto their own island, to which one we could get something like Krakoa or anything along those lines. But, and then last but not least, I do want to talk about the really cool concept art that came out recently, and that was regarding, if you guys remember back in the day, I said that they were building up the Sinister Six that essentially were going to end up fighting Null. And there was a recent scrapped Kraven the Hunter concept art, which essentially it was the symbiotes all dead over what seems to be Glintar. Now, from what my understanding and what I've been told before, it kind of was going to lead up to the thing, was Null was going to eventually get out, and he was going to just go on a rampage, and he was going to kill a ton of symbiotes, to which then obviously he's going to Earth, you know, whether or not he's coming after Black Suit Spider-Man, whether Flash Thompson has the suit at this point, or whether Eddie Brock and Venom are back together, he is coming for them. And I mean, it looks awesome. You know, it's very dark. It's a very shadowy, foggy world, and the symbiotes are all dead on the ground, unconscious, and just annihilated, because we do know how powerful Null is and how great Null is. And, you know, just to have this character be the big bad for the Sony universe, and then obviously crossing over into the Marvel universe, it's all we could ask for. I mean, I'd love to see him in Doomsday and leading into Secret Wars, possibly teaming up with Doom. Or, hey, maybe Doom kills him and takes his symbiosis powers and kind of wears him, kind of how Doom did in the more recent reinstatement of the Lethal Protector, where he tricked Eddie Brock into giving him the Venom symbiote and having it on. And with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed those leaks, rumors, and scoops for the week. Obviously, that was last week and to this weekend. I know things have been everywhere, and I haven't really been posting on here, but I am going to get back into it. Obviously, also with the talk possibly being gone in the next, 6 days or 7 days. I'm really sad about it because obviously I grew a big community on there. I'd like to grow it on here too. I talk when I talk, but over there I can just do it in my car and whatnot. From what I've heard, shorts aren't really the same. So, maybe I'll post some shorts if you guys would like, or maybe I'll just stick to the long format on here. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what kind of content you guys would like. Obviously, I'm going to go more into my thoughts and whatnot more recently. Scoops and rumors. I'm obviously going to dive into Brave New World coming up, and obviously your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man soon enough as well, as I did read the comic. And, I've been telling you guys about I was going to do a video on that. I think I'm going to do it a little bit closer down to it because if I remember correctly, that show comes out in like 2 or 3 weeks. Not a huge fan of the animation, but I am kind of excited to see the new stories we could get and how they could differ from what if Norman Osborn was Peter's mentor versus what if Tony Stark is Peter's mentor. As always, I appreciate y'all very much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Happy 2025 once again, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.